Welcome to the Forensic Chat Room. I'm Associate Professor Carl Wiensko.
Professor Roger Bayard.
And in these sessions, we will talk about different forensic topics.
They'll be associated with your lectures, there'll be additional material, we'll be talking to you whether there are topics that you want us to discuss, there'll be interesting cases, and there'll be material attached to it that you can also download. So there's a range of material. Why we're doing this is that we can't really record the lectures as they are because there's some very sensitive material and sensitive casework there, but in this way you can actually tune in, see what we think is important, and we can give you exam tips and talk about life as a forensic pathologist.
All right, so welcome.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome. Today we have Kelly with us, and we are talking about honours projects, hers specifically, but also in general.
I can't talk about when I nearly drowned.
Great. Hi.
Well, this is hi Kelly. You know Roger very well.
Very well.
He will keep talking about himself.
No, I have a really interesting story about drowning, actually, which I've already told about 4 times.
No, tell me. I really want to know.
All right. Well, Kelly went through TIFFs with us, and then you progressed into an honours.
Yeah.
We thought that we were going to keep you for a PhD project, but
then I left.
Then she left. And now she's back. So she's actually lecturing in the IFS course, which is the first years. Yeah. So you went through TIFFs.
Yes. Yeah.
What did you think about the TIFFs course?
Great.
Yeah, great. They're not paying me to say this, by the way. I loved the TIFFs course. I remember Roger gave a lecture in second year when we did pathologic basis of disease, and he introduced the TIFFs course, and I was really excited to take it because it was everything I was interested in. It was like health science and medicine combined with the law, so medico-legal stuff. I was like fascinating. I love gory things, which is probably not a good advertisement to people, but some people will be intrigued. I feel like if you get into the course, you're into that stuff. Yeah. And I like puzzles and solving things. So that was a really good introduction to me. I then got into topics in forensic science, and I thought the lectures were really great. I really liked everyone who came, often from Forensic Science South Australia, and they're really helpful and easy to talk to. And essentially I would just sit there and listen because they were always interesting lectures. They weren't ones that you just felt you had to note a lot of things down for. You'd just sit and watch and listen, and they were always really helpful and really cutting edge new technology and stuff like that. So I loved it.
How did you find not having the lectures online?
I liked it. I don't know. I don't really watch my lectures online, so maybe not the best.
You mean nobody's going to watch this?
Hopefully not. No, I think a lot of students nowadays do have online things, but I think that's because they think that they need to have a permanent recording that they can just view again and again and listen to you on 2.5 speed and stuff like that. I think it was better to just actually go sit and listen because you take it in and it's just memorable. I'd go there and the stories are really interesting, so it wasn't like studying. You just go and you hear an interesting account of how they identified disaster victims for the tsunami or anything like that, and you just watch the process.
There's more stories.
Yeah, it's more stories, and if it's a story, it's just it's like watching the news, but it's actually reliable, incredible stuff that you're hearing. So
maybe I should start off with once upon a time I was swimming in the Murrumbidgee.
Yeah, exactly. If you do that, everyone will love it.
Please don't encourage him.
He was one of my favourite parts of it. I'm sorry.
Without the drowning.
Well, so you enjoyed the TIFFs course, but you enjoyed all of your studies at the uni. But how was your honours years?
Well, it was really good. So I loved topics in forensic science so much that I was like, yep, this is what I want to do research in. Essentially I asked both of you and Neil if you'd have me as a student, which gratefully you accepted.
I'm not sure why we did that.
Yeah, I know. I think I pestered you until you accepted.
Right.
Yeah, I talked to you about dogs a bit. And,
that probably worked.
Just naturally flew on from there. But yeah, it was really helpful. I think topics in forensic science started me with a good base for everything I needed to know forensically, that I could perhaps look at some areas that hadn't been explored in more depth. And so then from there I could think about what I actually wanted to do. And I liked the bruising work. I'd done previous summer research scholarships with Neil as well. Mm-hmm. So I feel like they added to the coursework. And then from both of those things, I was able to be like, yeah, this is what I want to do research
So
in.
what was the title of the research? What did you actually do?
So we were looking at the alternate light sources in forensic investigation, and essentially we wanted to know if you could use ultraviolet, infrared, or narrowband light sources to enhance the visibility of bruises.
Yeah, because we've talked about bruising and blunt force trauma and how difficult it is to age bruises, but sometimes to see bruises.
Yeah.
And that was interesting, wasn't it? It was magic the way you're bringing some of the bruises out.
Yeah, exactly. So people always assume that if you knock yourself, it's going to be instantly visible, or that you can age a bruise or something interesting like that. You read a bunch of different things. But especially for victims of sexual abuse or childhood abuse, it's not always immediately visible. And if they're brought to a forensic examiner, or if they happen to pass away, you might not be able to detect them just with the naked eye. So that's what we looked at, and that was, really interesting.
But it was a bit disturbing as well, because they're using these in court in the US, predominantly in the US, saying that we put some light on your leg, and when we see something, it's a bruise.
Yeah.
But
right.
That's not really true then, is it?
No, definitely not. And I would be worried if I was convicted of anything in the US. Not that I have.
We would be
anything
very
to worry
worried as
about.
well, Kay.
That's right.
I just want to make that clear.
Being a medical student, I just want to say I have no crimes against my name currently. So
Currently.
At least.
Currently.
Or at
Yeah,
least
yeah.
outside the US. Yeah.
I just want to speak accurately for the jury.
But you did find stuff to publish, didn't you? So you got a lot of papers out of it.
Yeah, it was really good. So I was put in with the rest of the medical science cohort, so I got to see everyone with their different supervisors from their different specialties of medical science, and it was really interesting to see different supervisors and different fields have different ways of communicating with their honours students, and I felt like I was very fortunate because I got a lot of contact with you guys, so I got regular meetings, I got to check that what I was doing was right. Most people also had positive experiences, but they might not have had work that was perhaps publishable, so they got something out of their honours, it seemed, but I was very fortunate in that I not only had regular contact with my supervisors, so you guys, but I also got to enjoy my research, go to conferences, give presentations, and then lecture in this course now, and finally also get 4 publications out of my one honours project.
That's the point. If you're going to do the work, you might as well get all this stuff out of it, because what's the point?
Yeah,
it's all very
exactly.
nice to have something in a little dusty pile for 50 years,
Yeah.
but if nobody else knows about it, and if it's not worthy of publishing, then it's not really a significant observation.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. I guess if it's publishable, then you know that the work that you did was really
It's
interesting and
important,
people
yeah.
want to know about it.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then perhaps you just did a little add-on study for someone later. So it's good that this was helpful, and it's created more research in and of itself. So it was a really good honours project to have.
But we also, as part of the summer scholarship and honours program, we get students to just write up other projects as well, just to develop your writing. So you've done case reports, but your resuscitation-related injuries paper, that's got a lot of citations. That's going very well, actually.
Yeah, no, it's doing really well. So I did a paper with Roger and Neil and some other people at Forensic Science as well, which was connected to my honours year. And I got to do case reports and other various aspects, and they got published as well. So it creates more research opportunities from the honours year. So it's really
Well,
helpful.
it helps you to think about things in a sort of an analytical way. You know, what's your hypothesis? How can you actually frame it so that people can understand it? You may never use it again, but at least it's on your CV, which is always good. And also, you've got that ability. You've shown that you can write up reports and things like that. So
Yeah.
I think that is good. And in medicine, now you're in medicine, that will be useful. I mean, you'll be ahead of some of your consultants in terms of publishing, actually, which is really interesting. Don't ever tell them that.
Yeah, I just Google Scholar them in the quiet and go,
right.
oh, you've only got 4, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's actually been really useful because my course is converted to an MD course instead of MBBS. So most of the med schools in Australia are now wanting to convert to that because it has the research component, and medicine and other areas are getting more competitive, so you need to have research under your belt. So it's really helpful because I got into my course and I was one of the few people who had done some research before. So everyone was attending journal clubs and doing research like grant proposals and everything like that. And they're like, I've never seen this before, I don't know what's happening. And I was like, oh, that's okay, I'll just do it here. It's so helpful.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really great.
Yeah, so it's actually good. I'm currently doing a research project now at the moment, and everyone's like, oh, what's an RCT? And I'm like, well, that's fine. Could do that with my eyes closed. Let's write a grant proposal about it. Because we had to do that as part of the honours project here.
Yeah, that's right. Because there's is it 1 to 2 weeks to start with where you have lectures with statistics and maybe grant analysis and stuff like that. So that's useful.
Yeah, the workshops are really helpful as well.
Some of the stuff in it I think is really tough. Like you have to give a paper and you have to write an abstract or something and you've got hours to do this. But it is useful, I think, once you've done it.
Yeah, at the time I wasn't loving it, I'm not going to lie.
Right.
We had a critique exam, I believe that's what it was called, at least when I did it. I don't know if they've changed the name. But yeah, it was an exam where essentially we barely got given any of the paper. It was only little portions and a lot of it had been taken out, and we had to rewrite areas of the methods and the analysis and the discussion, and it wasn't even from the area we were in. So I remember I got something, but luckily I think it was neuroscience related, and I also liked neuroscience. It's what I wanted to do the PhD in with you before I left town.
Before you abandoned us. Yes, that's
exactly.
Right.
Some nice neuropathology area. Or
so
something.
what do you think TIFF students should do if they're thinking about doing honours? I mean, should they go to the lectures and talk to people afterwards, the lecturers, or how should they approach it, do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys are fine to be bothered. I think I bothered you enough and you were more than happy.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I know. You left as soon as the lecture finished.
That's exactly right.
No, I think easily at the end of the lecture, if they're interested in speaking to anyone, whether it's you guys or anyone else who gives the presentation, who's affiliated with the uni and can do the project, they should just go up and speak to you at the end of the lecture, or they can email you or just contact you in some way and just express their interest.
That's why I want people to come along to the lectures, actually, so they get a chance to interact and talk.
Yeah, the lectures are fun. I don't know, they're not like a chore. I know some lectures can be a chore. I have many lectures that I have to go see every day, but it depends who's presenting and what they're presenting. And I think if you're interested enough to take topics in forensic science in the first place, then you've got the interest in the background content there. And then if you got you guys presenting, it'll be fun anyway.
Well, it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a chore.
It's not making you a neuroanatomist or something.
Yeah.
It's just giving you an overview of what goes on.
Exactly.
I think that's a great ending to this discussion, actually. Just come and see us after the lectures, have a chat.
I can tell you about my near-drowning experience.
It's probably something I have to edit out of this.
Yeah, probably.
All right, well, thank you, Kelly, for coming. It was great seeing you, and it's great. And I remember that the time when you did your first poster presentation, you were really nervous, and now I see you giving lectures like you've done nothing else.
I know,
it's great to
veteran
see.
now.
She's a veteran now.
At the National Pathology meeting. I mean, you've done that how many times now?
Oh, yeah, at Pathology Update, I think it's my 4th year.
Is that right?
Yeah, I forget.
That's pretty good.
I don't know,
Good, yeah.
exactly.
Fantastic.
It's really
Good.
useful. Thanks, guys.
So come approach us after the lectures or anytime, just send us an email and we'll have a chat. And we'll wrap it up.
Yep, sounds
All right.
good.
Thank you for coming, Kelly.
Thanks.